Well, let's dive into the debate straight up. And first up, say hello to our guests. Sudha Ramalingam joining us from Chennai. Vrinda Grover joining us from Delhi. Pooja Marwa, we're expecting her to join us in just a bit. Bachi Kakaria with me here in the Mumbai studio. Ava Singh also with us here. Good evening. Shazia Elmi with Sanket there in Delhi. Malika Sarabhai joining us from Ahmedabad. Mr. Sudhir Thailang joining us in Delhi. And also Ranjana Kumari with us from Delhi. But first, let's ask the lawyer in the mix the first question. We'll talk about the implementation and the issues in just a bit. But are you expecting the verdict, the quantum of punishment, to be a deterrent? Will this be a precedent, Abha Singh?
See, it may be a precedent, it may be a deterrent, but it may not be, because tomorrow when the judgment, the quantum comes, it is going to be governed by the previous law. And there was no death penalty for 376. It is only in this case, the death penalty we are asking, rarest of the rare, because murder 302 is there. The new amendment, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, has said that 376A, only death penalty is there when the victim is reduced to a vegetative state or has died, or again if it is a repeat offender. In this case, if we see, now because of the murder but not because of 376, and to talk of deterrence, it is impossible because the conviction rate is so poor in this country, not even 25%. Recently a judgment where Supreme Court Justice Gyan Sudha Mishra and Pinaki Mishra, they lamented that we have fast track courts, but the procedure to deal with these fast track courts is so pathetic that rapes are incessantly taking place. And they said that instead of police recording, instead of police recording the statement in 161, we should have the magistrate who should record the statement in rape cases in 164. So this is what it is. Deterrence will be when the procedure is streamlined.
But even on the old laws, I know Sanket has a point, but quickly, even on the old laws, the provisions are there. Because 2011, a 55-year-old man raped and killed a 5-year-old girl, he was sentenced to death. It was considered a rarest of a rare case. So it's not that there cannot be capital punishment.
Rarest of the rare because death was there. The country today is saying, why not rape is equally heinous and a grotesque offence? Why not death penalty for 376 IPC? So this is that would be the deterrence. Otherwise, just for murder, because murder has taken place, because death has taken place, and you give life death penalty, it is not going to be a deterrence.
Okay. Anand, in fact, we have Shazia Elmi as well as Mr. Sudhir Thailang here in the Delhi studio. Shazia, you, just a short while back, you were saying that you represent this particular constituency from your particular political party. But when this incident happened, from the point of view of an activist, what do you think needs to change first? The laws can come into place. The problem is their implementation.
True.
Is it an implementation problem or a mindset problem?
I definitely feel that the quantum or severity of punishment is very important. But I believe that certainty of punishment is even more important. Now look at this case. Because the investigation was thorough, because this was really the epicenter, this Munirka case was the epicenter of the entire revolution that happened around gender violence. Because of that, there was so much pressure, investigation, and the evidence collected was irrefutable. Despite false claims by two of the accused, they were not let off. So the fact of the matter is that unless and until we do streamline the procedure, fix the criminal justice system, ensure that the monitoring and filing of FIRs is done in a systematic way, and there are speedy trials and there is certainty of punishment, that alone can be the deterrent. Because let's not finish here, let's start from here.
But
this
Shazia,
is just the beginning.
This is a very theoretical argument. What can realistically happen? Now you are a representative of a political party.
True.
Often the political class is criticized for not actually taking these laws to their logical conclusion. A lot of people, we in fact had Neelam Kataria also just a short while back in the studio, where she said that how about act against those politicians who have been convicted under charges of rape and charges of murder?
Well,
why don't you lead by example?
Well,
now you're a political force.
I totally agree with you, and I would go a step further beyond what Supreme Court hearing says, that anybody charged with serious crimes of violence against women should be debarred. And I'm not looking at only members of parliament. and MLAs, but a corporator, a sarpanch, member of Gram Panchayat. I think people in public office and public space should learn how to respect women, should know what it means to understand the male-female dynamics. And that should be the track record beyond other parameters whereby they should be judged and voted for. I think it's a very important factor,
but you know,
and a necessary factor.
You know, Shazia, and I'm going to get Ranjana Kumari and Bachi Karkaria in on this. Ranjana Kumari first. You know, we said it was a furor. There should be a precedent. There should be a deterrent. But you know, Ms. Ranjana Kumari, when the next gang rape case happened soon after December 2012, soon after Nirbhaya. So are there lessons learned? And that is the reason why the focus on the quantum of punishment and what precedent this sets, because there needs to be some way they should be afraid, isn't it? Laws have changed, but people are not yet afraid. What happened in Shakti Mills in Mumbai?
Well, it is certainly a question of, the society, certainly a question of the mindset, the mentality, question of how women are looked at. They are looked at, object of sexual gratification, whether it is a 1.5-year-old child or a 70-year-old woman. This is the kind of women who have been targeted, the vulnerability of women. So certainly that mindset needs to be changed. And as you see that a lot of young men and women joined us in the protest, and later, certainly, we do hope that future will bring this kind of a change, and it is a generational change. When society starts going through these turbulences, definitely new thinking emerges, and I hope that that thinking will be moving our society towards gender equality. But Sanket, I have another point about this whole case, that two things which are very important to look at is the way fast track is possible, the way 90,000 pending cases, more than 90,000 pending cases can be dispensed of, and justice can be delivered to all those women who are like Nirbhaya waiting for this justice. And secondly, also one more just point, Sanket, that look at the way police could produce such a foolproof investigation methodology. And where was this methodology? Where is that methodology?
Which means if they have the will, they can.
Other women and other cases. Yes, absolutely. So now, looking at positively from this whole issue, that these two things, A, that police will investigate cases in a very foolproof, positive manner, and also
two
that
points that Ranjana Kumari you are making. Let's go across to Vrinda Grover. These two. Exactly. Let's take these 2 points to Vrinda Grover. Vrinda Grover, Ranjana Kumari makes two very pertinent points here. Number one, the will of the police force. If they want, they can come up with a watertight case. We saw what happened in the case of Nirbhaya. And also the whole issue of fast-track courts. How fast was the fast-track court? In this particular case also, in full media glare, in full public attention, it took 7 months.
And 130 hearings.
Yes. I just want to make 2 points, and I'll come to the specifics that you've raised. Firstly, death penalty is not a deterrent to any crime. This has been established over and over again. Simply because we are feeling angry and we are very anguished, and everybody is, and certainly the family will have a very, very deep personal agony. We are asking for this. Let us see who are the politicians who asked for it, and what were the remarks they made when Asaram was to be arrested. Those very politicians delayed his arrest, ensured that the system was not allowed to function. So let's not get carried away by these histrionics that are being displayed by the political class today. Secondly, in terms of let's use this as an opportunity to see this case not in isolation, but does it set a benchmark? Does it set a benchmark for the medical treatment to be afforded to a rape survivor victim? Does it set a benchmark for reparations to be provided? Does it set a benchmark for professional police investigation as indicated by Ranjana Kumari? What is a fast track?
Does it?
In this case, I believe, may I just finish?
Ms. Vrinda Grover, does it?
Yes, that is what I'm answering. Please listen. Fast track courts doesn't mean that we will not have fair trial, that we will not have due process. If the prosecution presents, in its wisdom, over 80 witnesses, surely each witness will have to be examined, will have to be cross-examined. Statement of accused will have to be recorded. The defense will have a right to produce witnesses. Thereafter, arguments will be heard. So it is going to depend upon the quantum of evidence that is available, it may lead to a large number of witnesses.
But an open and shut case, and one that caused such a media furore, Vrinda Grover, and everything was out. All the evidence, everything was out. The police was on top of the investigation, took 130 hearings in 7 months. We don't know how much of confidence we'll have on these kind of fast-track courts. No, and she's talking about it acting at deterrence at multiple levels. Bachi Kakare, do you think it will act as deterrence at multiple levels? And the death penalty is not good enough?
We are not going to hold trials in times now. We are going to hold them.
No, it's not a trial here, Ms. Vrinda Grover. Please don't. You don't need to. Offense is not always the best form of defense. Please understand. Yes, Ms. Karkare, go ahead, please.
Not subvert a fair trial.
Anand, I completely agree with Vrinda in the fact that fast track cannot be shoddy and slipshod, and because the media is making a big noise, justice has to serve that. I think we've established a very good record in the way we handle our cases. Kasab being a case in point, when everybody was baying for blood, we went through due process, and then finally justice was served. The other point that Vrinda is making about death penalty, personally, if death penalty is your highest punishment, by all means hang the guys, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe in it. Not on any bleeding heart grounds, but because I think that death really gives them a very quick way out of the whole thing, and that's the end for it. It's a great public image, psychological, to see someone swing from the gallows. But I think if we could find a way to really make life a living hell for these guys, I think that would be the bigger punishment. If they have to rot in jail, if they are not given any kind of leeway, if they are not allowed any sort of leeway for good behavior, if they are put into solitary confinement, I mean, I think that would really be the far bigger deterrent.
Malika Sarabhai, you agree, disagree?
I agree that a deterrent has to be given, but I don't agree that solitary punishment is what is going to be. What is it that counts for an Indian man? Main marad hoon, meri mardangi, and this sort of nonsense. So if it means you neuter them and then you push them back into society so that they have to live with that humiliation, like this guilt-free women have to live every single day of their lives. They live with these scornful views, they live with these rude comments, they live with this terrible feeling of being raped. We need to make men feel that way. Death is too easy, and in any case, as Vrinda said, death penalties haven't solved any crimes. So I think we need to actually think through what are the things that will shame people, because shame is the only thing that seems to be a deterrent in our society.
To come to Malika's point, I think shame really is it, but then shame has to start when you talk to a mindset. I think that shame has to be then shame as much for the bystander who watches women getting molested. I hate this word eve teasing, but having lewd remarks passed against them, or being virtually stripped either with their eyes or physically on the street. I think that shame has to get into the mindset of ordinary people, Again, I don't want to use this word society because it's a faceless word. But I think every individual must feel the same shame. Only then will that mindset change.
We were all shamed, we were crying, we were weeping at India Gate when Nirbhaya rape happened. But what about the Mumbai photojournalist rape?
In 5 months, the same thing happens here. Issue to just shame. What about the fear of the law?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. We were unhappy, we were sad when 16 December happened. But here in Mumbai, Shakti Mills, the same thing went on. It was a group gang rape, 7-8 rapes. Now you're getting to know that was the modus operandi. Were they not shamed? The country was shamed. We said we are shamed, we are shamed. World ratings have gone down. But it doesn't. It is the law of the land. Okay. And unless and until there is fear of the law, justice has to be quick, speedy, and it has to be shown that we are going to be strict about it. Only then
justice has to be swift, it has to be delivered.
There has been there has been an 870% increase.
How does shaming change the mindset? Mr. Sudhir Thailand.
Yes.
Mr. Thailand, do you think that by shaming, people who commit rape or who have been accused of committing rape and then they are convicted are a result of a sick mind? These people are sick. The society should deem them sick. So apart from just shaming them, shouldn't there be a fear of the law? A strong fear of the law?
I completely agree with you, Sanket. The thing is that how can you shame shameless people?
Exactly.
These are completely shameless people. They got
What
nothing
is
to
shame
lose.
got to do with this?
Shame has got nothing to do
you
with
are
it.
making it out as
But
if
Sanket,
this
we
is
are living in a
this is
country
some
which is
aberrant
living
group.
in 21st century stone age.
Anand?
No.
Am I speaking or somebody else?
Yes, yes.
No,
please
no,
go ahead.
go. We'll just
I'm
let.
saying that
Yes, Mr. Talang,
Sanket,
complete.
we are living in a 21st century stone age, India, in which the police has become completely dysfunction, barring this case and many other cases. It is a completely inefficient,